welcome to the stream. I'll be with you in a minute. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Internet people. My name is Nick Trikakis, and I'm streaming from my beautiful studio here in Venice Beach, California. It's been a while. I understand that. There's many reasons why I don't stream every single day, but today is one of those days that I felt like I needed it. I'm doing this selfishly because I need to express myself and to kind of reconnect with the people like yourselves. The two people that are watching this right now. I'm only streaming on YouTube. Typically I do YouTube and Twitch, but I got an error message, and if you stop the stream and then restart it, then YouTube kind of doesn't like you that much. So I decided to just keep it going and to do this just for the sake of doing it. So thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Chat's open. Feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to keep me up on whatever new products came out in the audio tech or music tech space. I'm a little bit out of the loop. I went to Burning Man, and I was there for 13 nights. And I'm still decompressing, still kind of getting my feet back onto the ground and figuring out how to re-navigate the matrix that is society. That is all that I'll say for now. Right now I'm going to be playing, starting in F major, and I might just go through my live set, just because I feel like I'm ready to add more to it and write some new songs using some of the same sounds, maybe adding some more sounds, some new drums. But for the most part, I'm feeling pretty creative. I feel like it's time to make the live set 2.0. So what better way to send off the original live set than playing it, showing you what it's all about. So we'll start in F major. Highly recommend headphones if you got them. Synthetic, I have not heard of the Roland MX1. Check it out in a minute. Crusader General, I did not get stuck at Burning Man. There's no such thing as getting stuck at Burning Man. Yeah, there's no such thing. What it did, what the rain did, was it washed out 10,000, 15,000 sparkle ponies. And if you don't know, sparkle ponies are people that come to Burning Man specifically to experience and not to participate, not to follow any of the principles. They leave trash behind. They take advantage of people's gifting. And once they were gone, it was just such a better experience. Like, I've been saying this, it's like, I wasn't there, so I can't really compare, but Woodstock 69 looked like a pretty big shit show. However, people could say the same thing if they weren't there. Well, I'm saying that not being there and watching the kind of the news. So if you watch the news, then you saw that thousands stranded and multiple dead at Burning Man Festival. And those were the headlines. The only headline that I chose to actually see, and I saw it by accident. And yeah, I can only imagine what people thought. But it was amazing. It was the best one ever. It's my 10th. And I will continue to go back. Rain or shine. Heat or snow. I remember one year there was frost on the ground because it was 28 degrees one night. So you take what it gives you. You don't get the burn you want, you get the burn you need. And I certainly needed that. Let's modulate the filter. Yeah, let me adjust this compressor a little bit. It seems to be feeding back. So if I have that knob turned all the way to the left, you might only hear the bug of the clicking of the hype synth. If I turn it all the way to the right, then you get more high end. And I use it methodically, like the pressure of the pads only gives you the dynamic control. And technically, you could assign the filter to aftertouch. However, the aftertouch and the pads on Force are pretty shitty. All due respect, they didn't really do a great job at the velocity curve on Force compared to, say, Machine MK3, which has incredible feel as far as the pad goes. Pads go. Most of the knobs up top are set to project mode, and project mode 1 has essentially the filters of most of the instruments that I control the most. For example, here on Dark Dirty Strings, which is a patch that you can load up. I think I did a few things to it to kind of customize it, change some of the oscillators. Filter already up. I say this in all my streams, the filters are probably the most important parameter on any synthesizer. Now I suggest doing a low, long sweep through the filter of your synthesizer. Go to my lead here. Give you an example. You might not be able to hear that, but right now, if you're not listening with headphones, however, I'll slowly turn this up. And the intensity just builds. And you got to train your ear to know exactly where you are. Thank you, Noob. And up, Sebastian. Hopefully I'm saying that properly. And with the lead, you got the glide too. Go back to the bells, we'll do a filter sweep as well. You know what? the pads on Force and MPC are of the lowest quality of pretty much any manufacturer out there. I would even argue Pioneer did a better job with their pads. Novation certainly did a better job with their pads on the Pro version, not the original launch pad. Machine does the best job with it. And then I haven't played the Push 3 yet. I'm sure that they're pretty good, but the Push 2 is kind of disappointing in my opinion. Also, Push 3 doesn't have this scale mode where the octaves are stacked from top to bottom, or from bottom to top, whatever you want to call it, and left to right. It still uses the third, fourth interval in piano mode and guitar mode and some of these other modes that were on the original Push. That's an oversight in my opinion. Also, the Push has the knobs on the top of the interface as opposed to right here, which means that it's physically impossible to reach, the bottom pads and then modulate some of the parameters. Again, a pretty big oversight, but I guess the way that people use Push 3 doesn't really matter. But even with the pads not being quite as sensitive and expressive as I want them to, yeah, you get used to it. You figure out how to use other parameters like filter, glide, whatever your oscillator is, reverb, delay, just these audio engineering kind of tools in order to get it to express the way that you want. And eventually you do adapt and learn how to adjust your playing style to fit within the instrument of what it is. It's kind of like a guitar player that has a guitar that has really high play. I don't know if I'm using the right term, but like the strings are really far from the frets, versus a guitar that they're really close and it's really easy to play. So you can obviously save a lot of energy when you don't have to really punch into the pads. However, I mean, it's not like you really have to hit them that hard. Let me just like turn it up here. Action, that's right. See how I'm getting pretty much a hard hit no matter what? How I'll compensate for that is by using the filter. And the filter and these knobs on the Force are the best in class in my opinion. They're really, really tough. You can dig into them. You can control multiple of them at the same time and they don't bend, versus Machine or any of the other controllers that I have in here, including my sequential, maybe with the exception of the Moog, but the Moog doesn't have the knobs laid out in a row, so I can't necessarily do my 8-finger controlling. That you'll see a little bit when I do the live set in a little bit, or I shouldn't say live set, when I go through my performance. So again, you just kind of make it work for you, and requires some practice. You gotta take the time to learn the tools, suck at them, and then get good. And I only really use, I should say less than 10 different patches on these synthesizers. I'm not really kind of going in too deep on the sound design aspect. I'm focusing on the performance aspect. And when you're performing, you're sound designing live. So it's never really the same sound. Not a lot of automation. You just kind of like figure out how to modulate and play the same way that a piano player or guitar player or any other instrumentalist would do. Have you worked with AI last time? She changed the voice from a singing loop. The last music AI that I played with was yesterday. It's called Stable Audio. Let me actually go and show you some stable audio. Maybe I can go through and give me a second. Let me actually load this up. Load up my Discord. We'll load up some stable audio, and I'll show you the latest AI tools. In my opinion, the best one is on Google, or the most... Sorry, my microphone's cutting out. The most useful one from a... I don't know, I guess from like a passive listener standpoint, I would say is Google LM, or Music LM by Google. It's available on Google Test Kitchen is what it's called. You can download it on your phone. However, on your desktop, it tells you how many credits you have. I believe you get something like 25 to 30 credits. That means credits equals one output, or at least one text prompt in, and it gives you 2 outputs each. Whereas Stable Audio has a pay service that's available right now. And let me just go into my Discord and let's find this out. Here we go. So if you go to Stability AI or stability.ai, and here we are right here. Stable Audio. Visit stableaudio.com. In fact, go to stableaudio.com. That's where you want to go. And sorry, my mic continues to cut out. It's a little bit annoying. And let's go here. Create music. Generate music. So I'll start off with just creating a beat. Let's see. I don't know. Throw in a prompt. Throw in what type of music that you want to hear. Here is drum solo in the style of drum and bass and techno, 180 BPM. It's from a day ago. And let me do this real quick. I got to set the output of here to multi-output device. Now, it's not necessarily a drum solo, but it's more kind of drum and bass. So the library that this was trained on doesn't necessarily have... I mean, that's kind of the one thing with music right now. Since there's so much copyright issues surrounding music, a lot of people, or a lot of these companies, are using open source libraries. And they don't necessarily have the best or the most genre-specific music out there. Here's a masterful drum solo made with analog drum machines. I don't know how masterful that is. Here is a Minimoog lead synth solo over Detroit Boom Bap. Here's Detroit Boom Bap Neo Soul Lo-Fi beat. It gives you a 45-second output, and it seems to be a bit more consistent. For the most part, it's just a loop. Doesn't have much movement in there. Here's a heavy trap beat with Gutter Street vibes. You know what? Okay, so let's do this. Berlin techno. Underground club. 909. Drum machine. Okay, let's try that. And let's see how long it takes. Meanwhile, what I will do is click on this and go to Music LM. And let's try Music LM and see what the difference is. Okay, let's see. I know I gotta go somewhere in here. You know, so you could sign up here. Well, let's sign up. I believe I already did. All right, get started. Sign in now. Error could not sign in. Well, let's try over here. Sign in now. Error could not sign in. Allow. Okay. Here we go. All right. Just a second. Okay, cool. So now we have, where is it? Well, let me go back over here. Stable audio. And then next to AI Test Kitchen. Okay, cool. So let's first listen to this Berlin techno beat. Okay. You know, there's some pretty cool stuff in there. I don't know if I'd necessarily release this. But there's some cool textures in there. I'll give it a thumbs up. Just because I'm trying to be, you know, trying to be cool with it. Google LM, however, does some really great drum solos. So let's do a drum solo in the style of drum and bass, which is my favorite prompt. By far, it's, or at least with Music LM. If I say Google LM, I mean Music LM. It is what it is. And why don't you drop a prompt in the chat? Oh yeah, see, listen to this. That shit is fucking legit. I like that so much better. I mean, it's just, it's impressive. It really is impressive. And it's not necessarily the audio quality of it that's super impressive. It's more so the musicianship. I feel like Google really nailed it and created a model that, you know, not only creates music that, it creates music that it would take a masterful musician to actually play back, first and foremost. Second of all, the audio quality, I think was it 22.5K or 22.4K? Something along those lines. Or maybe it's 24 kilohertz. Whereas stable audio generates on the pro level up to 44.1, which is CD quality. Let's try something else. What do I want to do? Let's see if this will. J Dilla style instrumental Detroit. Let's see if it takes artists. This is again one of those things to where, like on Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, you can put in celebrity names and it'll create a rendition of that celebrity. Well, the music industry, the record industry is completely fucked, and everyone is so protective of their art that it's likely going to give me an error being like, oh, well, J Dilla is copywritten, so kind of an issue. Let's listen to these again. These are really good. This one's got a little bass line there. It's got the rolls and all of that. It also does really well with lo-fi. That lo-fi prompt. Lo-fi, Detroit. I spelled Detroit right. That's spelled right, just not capitalized. Detroit, the neo soul. Boom, bap, behind the beat. Let's see what that does. Yeah, you know what the thing is? The issue... Huh. Kinda cool. Yeah, the thing is why I was thinking about making a little splice pack, but I did not because these loops aren't at, it doesn't tell you what the BPM is, and there is quite a bit of manual labor that goes into ensuring that you have a specific loop, whereas Music LM gives you 2-bar loops at a time. And then it's an auto-regressive model, which I'll try not to get too technical. I don't know how much in AI you guys are, but auto-regressive is, I'm going to do my best to describe this. I'm by no means an expert. I'm just a creative person that uses these tools and hangs out with a lot of people that are smarter than me. But essentially it works. It doesn't, it kind of forgets everything that happened and listens to the most current words and then kind of predicts what would happen next. Auto-regressive is how large language models like GPT work as well, but it only does that with text. Essentially the same thing is happening with these audio models, where it's metaphorically speaking kind of improvising based off of whatever's happening in the moment and then creates what's going to happen next. If we go to the stable user guide, we should be able to see some stuff here. So what is this? Trance, Ibiza, Beach, 4 a.m., Progressive, Synthesizer, 909, Dynamic Chords, Choir, Euphoric, Nostalgic, Dynamic Flowing. Now, in my opinion, that's a terrible prompt. I mean, like if a blog writer wrote that about my stuff, I just would, I don't know. Call me jaded. But taking semantics and using it to describe music just seems counterintuitive. I do like that there's 125, 122. It doesn't look like there's any time signature or key in here, but if you were able to, there is some big reverb, synthesizer pad chords. These are nice to go. Let's see, synth pop, let's see. I like this. All right, let's do this. Let's actually go through this. I don't think that I've actually read all of this right now. All right, so we have prompts, we have the model. We'll take a look at that. Don't mind my audio interface kind of glitching out right now. It should stop right about now. Perfect. Okay, we got through that. Thanks for sticking with that. And then we have the trade-in data. Then we have licensing. As a pro user, you can generate music and stable audio in your commercial projects. Learn more about what our license does and what is not allowed. We have the training data. Okay, cool. So let's add details, set the move, choose instruments, set the BPM. So I think I was doing this wrong. Okay, so add detail. Something specific in mind, include it. Genres, descriptive phrases, instruments, and moods work particularly well. For example, a detailed prompt might include something like this: cinematic soundtrack, Wild West, high noon, shootout, percussion, whistles, horses, action scenes, SFX shaker, guitar, bass, timpani, strings, tense, cinematic, atmospheric, moody. Okay. And then set the mood, groove me or rhythmic. Choose the instruments, reverberated guitar, powerful choir, swelling strings. So they did think about these things. And then the BPM. For example, if you generate a drum and bass track, you might want 170 BPM in your track. I believe I did that. Let's see. Did I do it in the right order though? Heavy trap beat, gutter vibes, hard-hitting 808. Yeah, I think I kind of did. Maybe not. Maybe it should have been drum and bass, drum solo, and then the BPM on that one right there. Okay, cool. So then we have full instruments. These are some example prompts. We kind of went through those. So 3/4. 3/4 and 3. 3 beat, guitar, drums. Now let's listen. Is this in 3/4? Good. I mean, the audio quality of that is remarkable. I'm not going to lie. That sounds, you know, say what you want about the song or whatever, but that is a remarkably crisp AI generation of a song. It's pretty unbelievable how far we've come in just, what, 6 months since, was it Music LM came out, I believe, in either, I think it was either April or May. Could have been later, but it was fairly recent. So it's come a long way from there. All right, and then let's do individual stems. You can also use stable audio to generate individual stems featuring single instrument or groups of instruments. Just specify what you want in the prompt. Electric guitar top line, solo instrumental, no drums, classic rock, 105 BPM. Grade, I don't know what grade means. Featured instruments, guitar. So maybe grade is a special type of modulating prompt. Kind of like how in Midjourney you can select the aspect ratio or have negative prompts or add weights and that type of stuff. Let's see what the drum solo is here. Okay, so I'm just going to say this right away. Google LM does a much better job at solos. So let's do just drum solo and Google LM, and the audio quality will be a bit lower. But let's just see. All right, so yeah, I think again, Music LM kind of comes through a little bit more with the musicianship, whereas it looks like Stable Audio does a bit better job at specifics. Maybe sound effects, ringtone, explosion, car passing by, fireworks. Let's listen to these. Let's see. That's a ringtone? Okay. Okay. That's a car passing by. Let's see what this is. All right, I mean, it is what it is. All right, let's check out the model. The AI model behind Stable Audio is a latent diffusion model for audio generation. You can read more about the model's architecture in our research blog post here. We'll do that in a second. Our first audio AI model is exclusively trained on music provided by Audio Sparks, a leading library and stock audio website. This is what I was saying with the training data for a lot of these. It is not the most exciting music in the world. Here, let's turn these on. Hey, look, there I am. Yeah, it's not really trained on Spotify or anything like that. This is why you just don't sign to a label. Just release your shit independently. All that stuff's going to go away in the next 20 years or so. Music will be composable or built on a composable kind of data set or composable piece of software. Stems and all those types of things will be available. There'll be new types of music players and music platforms. The current paradigm of the record industry is just dead, and it should have died a while ago. That's my opinion. It's up to interpretation. You can think what you want. That's totally fine. It is my stream, so I can say these things, right? You're not going to judge me? Okay, cool. So let's look at this research blog post, because I do remember seeing... Yeah, okay, cool. So see, the introduction of diffusion-based generative models has revolutionized the field of generative AI over the last few years, leading to rapid improvements in the quality and controllability of generated images, video, and audio. Diffusion models work with latent encoding space, a pre-trained autoencoder termed latent diffusion models. Provide significant speed improvements to the training and interface of diffusion models. One of the main issues while generating audio is using diffusion models. One of the main issues with generating audio using diffusion models is that diffusion models are usually trained to generate fixed size outputs. For example, an audio diffusion model might be trained on 30 seconds of audio clips and will only be able to generate 30-second chunks. This is an issue when training and trying to generate audio of great varying lengths, as in the case of when generating full songs. So basically what this is saying is it's only able to generate so much, and then from there it has to kind of take the original prompt and the data that was in that first chunk, as they call it, and then create a variant of that in order to create a full song. This can be really cool, but Music LM actually has a solution for this, which is, I forget exactly what they call it. I believe it's kind of like the timeline. It's where you set different time points or time stamps in the song that you want, and then add different prompts based off that. And what it'll do is it will start with your original prompt, create kind of a foundation, and then it will use that foundation and then the next prompt that you have, mix those together to create a different part of the song. Typically in 2-bar loops, but looks like these stable diffusion models are a little bit different. We introduced Stable Audio, a latent diffusion model architecture for audio conditioned on text metadata, as well as audio file duration and start time, allowing for control over the content and length of the generated audio. This additional timing conditioning allows us to generate audio of a specific length up to the training window size. Cool. All right, let's look at the technical details here. I love charts like this, okay? Let's try to understand this a bit. And I apologize. You can just drop in the chat if I'm fucking boring the hell out of you guys, or if you're actually finding this pretty fascinating. I find this shit fascinating. All right, so let's see. So we have the prompt here. Okay. So the first step is going to be the prompt, which is the text prompt that we're going to see over here in the generate, right? The text prompt. And then we're going to choose the model that we want. And it looks like we only have one model to choose from right now. I'm sure that much like Midjourney and Dolly and, you know, all of the open source models that you see on things like Google Colab notebooks, you'll have more of these in the future. And then you have the duration length. So that's what here, seconds start and seconds total. So it's going to start at 0 and it's going to be the total seconds. In this case, since I don't have a pro account, it's just going to be 45 seconds. So then it goes into CLAP's text encoder, CLAP. Let's see if it talks about that. To condition the model on text prompts, we use frozen text encoder of a CLAP model trained from scratch on our data set. The use of CLAP model allows the text features to contain some information about the relationships between the words and sounds. We use the text features from, what is that, penultimate? Yeah, penultimate layer. I don't know what that is, or if I'm pronouncing that right, I apologize. The penultimate layer of the CLAP text encoder to obtain informative representations of the tokenized input text. These text features are provided to the diffusion UNet through cross-attention layers. Now, most of that didn't quite make sense, although I am following, right, to a certain point. So the prompt goes into this. This is what takes the, essentially the text and then encodes it into some sort of audio that was based on, I think live music may become more valuable though. I don't know if you're telling me to perform live music right now. Oh, yeah. Live music will certainly... Live music has always become more valuable, you know? That's why it's the only way that artists can make money. Because you can actually sell a physical thing called a ticket, even though they're not always physical. But you can go to a physical space and experience that live performance. So that's that. Hopefully that'll never change. It'll just evolve and become better. All right, so like I said, the prompt goes into this encoder, and then it takes that semantic level, and then it turns it into a series of different sounds that are based on the training set, right? And then the second start, you have the second start and better, and the total seconds and better. Okay, cool. So this goes into the prompt features. And the prompt features, where are we talking right here? From the timing, I don't know if it says anything about that. I want to read all of this. Prompt features, and then the start seconds and the total seconds go into the timing. So it goes from prompt features into timing into the diffusion UNet. And there's also some noise that is added in there. And much like dithering on the output, a lot of these models will add some sort of white or pink noise or some sort of noise, brown noise, whatever, in order to kind of cover up the imperfections in the audio. So all that goes into the diffusion UNet, and then you have these latents, the VAE decoder, and then the generated audio. All right, let's see. The diffusion model for stable audio is a 907 million UNet based on the model used in Musai. It uses a combination of residual layers, self-attention layers, cross-attention layers to denoise the input conditions on text and timing embeddings. Very efficient implications or implementations of attention were added to the UNet to allow the model to scale more efficiently to longer sequence lengths. Now that's really cool because I think you only get about 15 seconds with Music LM, and you can get up to 1 minute and 30 seconds with stable audio. So that's pretty badass. As far as technical papers go, this is pretty simple stuff right here. It doesn't really kind of go into too much detail. I wish I had this one chart, because the way that this diffusion works is it actually creates a, what is it called? Not a sound wave, Somebody in chat help me out. It's not called a sound wave. It's the spectrogram image. And that spectrogram is then put into some sort of model that then turns that into audio. I don't know if that's how this works, but some of my favorite ones, it works like that. So as far as AI goes, that's where we are right now. Maybe I will. You know what? Now that I've read the kind of how-to on this, let's go back and generate something. So let's go here. And it said you wanted to do, let's try this, 3/4 in 3, 3 beat. Okay, 3/4 in 3, 3 beat. We're gonna start there. Whoopsie-doops. And then we're gonna copy that. I'm gonna go over to generate, and we're gonna do 3/4 3 beat. House music. 909 drums. 303 acid bass line. 3 on the floor. We're going to try that. And we're going to see if it is capable of taking the most 4 on the floor genre of all time, house music, and turn it into 3 on the floor. Let's try this out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Oh, fingers crossed. Did it just kick me out? It did. You little bitch. All right, let's go back. I might have actually hit a button. All right, converting. Let's listen. No, oh my god, that is bad too. Oof. That's pretty bad. Okay, so AI is not going to take your job anytime soon, people. It doesn't know how to make 3/4 beats, but so do most producers. They don't know how to do that either. So the days of Boots and Cats continue. The days of Boots Cats have yet to come. Boots Cats is the future. You heard it here first, or maybe you heard it here 7 years ago when I first started preaching about Boots Cats. In fact, it was 8 years ago. But anyway. All right. Who's still with me? Let's see. Just give me a second. I'm going to check and see. We got 4 of you in here. Cool. I don't know how many chatters. It's always easier when there's a lively chat in here. Something to talk about. Otherwise, I just ramble. Just go on and on and on and on and on. There's nothing really wrong with that. I'm going to play some drums because if I'm going to do this performance, I kind of want to have my fingers warmed up. Pretty sure this project I already saved with no repeat on. When you play it, it almost makes it like the thing has MPE. What is MPE? MPE would be motion pad expression, so something along those lines. I'm assuming it's something about that MPE, like the Ableton push. In fact, I'm not even gonna wait. I'm just gonna go over here and be like, what does MPE mean? Ableton push. I'm gonna assume it has something to do with that. Is it MPE enabled? MPE, what is it? MIDI polyphonic expression. Yes, okay. Fuck yeah. That's what I thought you meant. I just wasn't sure. You know what? Here's the thing. Pretty badass, not gonna lie, like having the motion controlled pads. Is awesome. I wish these things were. However, you don't necessarily need them. I think one of the really big advantages of having a 32-second glide on, let's go over here. You have a 32-second glide on here. So the advantage is if you watch somebody like Jonathan Stein, who in my opinion is like the one and only and the greatest push player of all time. He does these amazing things. In fact, why don't we just do this? Let's go over here and let's do Jonathan Stein Instagram, and hopefully it'll let me. Sorry about that. I just, let's see, is that going in? It is, all right, sweet. Hello, Prototype. Hello, Prototype. Let's see here. Sorry, I just lost that for a second. Jonathan Stein, it doesn't look like he has much on here. Let's go to his Instagram, which I know is a little bit more difficult to gain access of. I even saw some Jonathan Stein Instagram. Anyway, maybe this is it. Ewing, no. Jonathan Stein, push 3, let's try that. Evidently Instagram doesn't exist on Brave search, so it doesn't matter. But I was gonna say the cool part about the MPE is being able to kind of glide between chords. However, I would get so bored and frustrated if I had to do a slide like this. Hold on a second. Wrong instrument. Like, I wouldn't even be able to do that. So each of them has their advantages, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to necessarily be one way or the other. Obviously, having pads like that can have their advantages, and you want to take advantage of them, thus being called advantages. But every instrument's different, so you play them differently. I do want to get an Ableton Push 3, though, eventually. I just don't want to... I'm glitching out again. I just don't want to buy something I'm not going to use. And I bought the Push 2, and I got over it really fast. And it just kind of sat there, and eventually I sold it. Kind of wish I didn't, but I did. So, anyway. Let's go do some drums. Let's do some drums. I can do that with the mod wheel and the pitch bend, but it doesn't seem as intuitive or fun. Yes, well, I mean, this doesn't have a mod wheel or a pitch bend. And that was one of the original motivations on actually learning the technique. I think Akai kind of forced me to get out of my comfort zone a little bit when it comes to... His machine was just so much further developed and more contemporary than the MPC. And that was the first thing that they sent me when I worked at Akai, was an MPC Live. And because they didn't have a live quantization mode, that's why I got into the trick style, which turned out to be like the biggest unlock of all time for me as a drummer. The fact that I don't have to play a 16th note and I can just hold down the pad. So let's find something to play over here. And we'll do this to warm up. I'm going to go here. Do a 2-bar loop right here, so we'll turn on fixed velocity. I'm sorry, fixed length. And let's record enable this. And when it's recording, okay, cool. So now let's just press this. Maybe speed that up a bit. Yeah, so let's see, Anoop. Let me just call you Sebastian because, or Sebastian. Oh, God, I'm terrible. I'm trying my best. Okay, I'm trying my best over here, and I'm still failing. The trick style is it's not easy. It was never intended to be easy. It was intended to make drumming easier, and also improve your timing. There's actually a video that I posted on X today that is a little bit throwback of me teaching my daughter how to play a 4 on the 4 beat, which is essentially just, and she can hold that down pretty consistently, right? So it's just a matter of like kind of getting the timing down of the actual clock. You want a quarter note, half note. Sixteenth note. And then the 32nd is just a delay on there. See if I stop it. And I just hit it once. See how it triggers twice? Triggers at a 32nd note. There it is. And once I get warmed up with those, I go up to insanely fast tempos, like. Let's get the beat down. No, never fixed velocity. Fixed velocity is a no, no, no. That's a Dikembe Mutombo no, no, no right there. That's like straight up getting blocked in the paint. Never fixed velocity. And the reason is because you lose the dynamics, which is the thing that made most people, that's why Frank Zappa didn't like the drum machine. It's because it had no dynamics, it had no feel. So when you turn off or have fixed velocity on, then basically you're just triggering the same sound. And because the timing is no repeated, it's going to sound very stiff or in tune or I should say quantized. And most electronic music genres are quantized. So it's natural to hear music played in a perfect time. It's much less natural to hear drum and bass played with a human feel. Neo-soul, lo-fi, there are genres that you like to kind of... that setup is off of muscle memory. I mean, yeah, dude, I created this kit in 2018. And I could have created a bunch of other kits, and I have probably about 10 64 pad kits. But what you kind of learn is that you can create this kit, and then you spend all of this time creating a different one, and then you kind of have to start from scratch and learning how to master it. Just like it's like a drummer buys a 5-piece drum kit, and then they play that 5-piece drum kit until they become really good at it. And even if you have a 15-piece drum kit, it doesn't necessarily make you a better drummer, or that you actually need or use all of those drums. It just kind of gives you more range of sound. So 64 sounds is plenty. And the way that this is set up is pretty simple, actually. You got on the left-hand side, you got different, here, let's stop that loop right there. You got different 808 pitches, and they're all tuned to the key of F right now. And then I have doesn't always trigger, right? Then I got some different effects. Then I have a snare drum in what? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, 1 through 3 places. That way I can play a... Then here I got hi-hats all the way across. And mostly the same thing, an open hi-hat. And then you got these couple ghost notes right here. So the most comfortable thing I'll do is like, and those ghost notes right there just add a little bit more feel again. And there's your proof that fixed velocity is off, right? But again, these pads aren't super pressure sensitive, so I mean, they don't have much dynamic range when it comes to the pad sensitivity. I don't really use this section much. I use the toms a lot. And I mess up a lot as well. All right, cool. You know what I think? Let's see, let's read some of these comments right here. Makes me appreciate it more because of the precision it requires. Even though you don't have to make every hit manually. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, timing, you need the timing. You need to kind of hit the window that will allow the pad to trigger. There's like a very slim window that you need to play within. But if you hit that, then it is extremely satisfying. You get that dopamine rush of satisfaction when you're playing something in time and in tune much quicker. Which I think as the next generation of drummers learns how to use pads properly, which I think Note Repeat was actually the original, that is the native way that drums should be played on there. With your fingers was evolution 1, as opposed to sticks. We had to like break away from the drum kit first. Then we had to break away from sticks and feet. We had to start using our fingers, which there are 10, as opposed to left foot, left stick, right stick, all right? This is the drummer hand. This is the melody harmony hand. And when you combine them too, you can just have really insane big drum kits. But Note Repeat is the digital aspect of it. It is the thing that makes the timing perfect. It's the thing that allows you to waste less movement. And most importantly, it is the thing that pushes drumming beyond physics. Now, this is something that was done with early drum machines. You had producers or composers that were really into the process of creating music that, or producing music that no human could produce before, that it was impossible for people to play. However, due to the limitations of some of the early drum machines, it wasn't necessarily much of a performance instrument. It was more used in the studio to produce. Whereas now, you have 64 pads. They can be whatever you want, and you can have more than one sound on those pads, and those pads can be controlled in nearly infinite different ways by adjusting the tempo. So let me like maybe go up to, I don't know, 186 BPM. I'll get it. There we go. Let's get that down. Four on the floor first. Like, good luck doing that physically. Good luck. I'd love to watch you try. And in fact, maybe some people will, but there is a kind of a physical limit to music and how much you can play. See, watching your stuff actually made me call Sweetwater. Let's see. Maybe watch Sweetwater thinking that there was something wrong with my pads when I originally got the force. Dude, that is fucking hilarious. I'm sure that the people at Sweetwater know me pretty well. Depends on who it is, but that is hilarious. No, dude, it just, that's funny. That's like going and buying like a Jimi Hendrix style guitar and being like, hey, you know what? Like, something wrong with my guitar. I was watching Jimi Hendrix play, and it just, it doesn't quite sound the same. What's the deal? Something wrong with my strings? And not to say that maybe I am the Jimi Hendrix of this. I don't know. But not to put myself at the level of Jimi Hendrix by any means. But no, man, it's just straight up practice, musical aptitude, and 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50,000 hours of practice at this point. I mean, I've been a musician since I was 5 years old, and I'm now 38. So that's 33 years of dedication to practice. And that's all it is. What I'm doing right now is essentially just practice. So yeah, put in that your finger endurance though. Finger endurance. I should train an AI. I should absolutely be training an AI. In fact, how I would do that is this. I wouldn't even bother with like making the full songs. I would take every knob movement and every pad, every single thing that I do in my performances and productions. I would use that as the training data. You want to teach an AI not how to make music, but how to be a musician. I think that's the main thing. I even like ChatGPT 4 is 800 or 200 billion parameter models used together, right? So there's like ones that are specialists in certain things, and that's kind of your band. So if you had an AI that was trained on me, then you could have an AI that was trained on specific guitar playing and et cetera, and then you can create a full song. But kind of going into it and saying like, you know, I'm gonna produce full tracks by me by training a single AI, I think is missing the point a little bit, or at least not understanding where the technology is right now. So, see, mess up a lot, dude. For real, I really thought that if sensitivity was low, watch your vids and seemed to be very lightly tapping, but it's so consistent, which is why I asked about full val. Guess I just got to practice. Yeah, man, practice. Honestly, that's like the solution to everything. Everything you're doing at every moment in your day is practicing. You're practicing watching videos right now. You're practicing typing in a chat. Train me, sensei, or I will use my Kirby power on you through YouTube and take all your superpowers away. Good luck with that, prototype. I challenge you in your gecko or your raccoon or your whatever the hell your pet was. I know you had a pet. That was kind of strange. Give me a second. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to grab myself a La Croix, an ice cold La Croix, and I'm going to turn on some of these spotlights so you can actually see me. So, yeah, give me 2 seconds and I'll be right back. And we'll just go to the start soon screen, but don't go away. I'll be right back in 3 minutes. And I'm back. There we go. Oh yeah, it was a cricket, that's right. Cricket named Barbara. Oh, and look, everyone's stuck around. Sweet. Listen to this. Oh man, the noise gate kind of took it away. That's a good lemon liqueur. Okay. I think I'm ready to kind of go through this live set. And as I was saying earlier, this is... I've been kind of developing this live set for, I want to say, almost 5 years now. And like everything else, you create something, and because it's live, you got to practice it. And when you have like an hour or 45 minute to an hour live set, that means you gotta practice that shit for 45 minutes 100 plus times before it becomes kind of second nature. So when I played at Burning Man, I didn't even practice. I was just so confident that I'd be able to kind of walk up there and play it. And it was by far the best performance that I've ever done. I mean, like by far. There was no mistakes. It was just full flow. I didn't mess up any of the drumming or anything like that. It was voila. So it's got to be done. I got to like end it and move on and create something new. So what better way to create something new than to say goodbye to the old? So we're going to do that together here, live on the internet. How fortunate are we to be here? All 6 of you. Or however many people are here. I'm not sure. But you're the fortunate ones. And I thank you so much for sticking around. I'll, maybe answer some questions or whatever during this. Oh, hold on. Let's do some resetting. All right. Do a couple things. I'll turn up this threshold. There we go. There we go. Turn off that metronome. I'm going to start this off in the key of F, Mixolydian.
the world has gone to bed one night or another with fear or pain or loss or disappointment, and yet each of us has awakened, arisen, somehow made our ablution, seen other human beings, and said, "Morning, how are you? Fine, thanks, and you?" It's amazing. Wherever that abides in the human being, there is the nobleness of the human spirit, despite it all. Black and white, Asian, Spanish, Native American, pretty, plain, thin, fat, vowed or celibate, we rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just 'cause I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like suns and like moons, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my sassiness upset you? Don't take it so hard just 'cause I laugh. As if I have gold mines digging in my own backyard. You can shoot me with your words. You can cut me with your lies. You can kill me with your hatefulness. But just like life, I rise. Does my sexiness offend you? Oh. Does it come as a surprise that I dance? As if I have diamonds at the meeting of my thighs. Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, naturally, there I go rising.
How's it sound? This is a clipping? It looks like it is.
here I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, naturally, there I go rising.
This one's got all the feels. See, this is a part that I definitely have been needing to change for a while. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Petrus. I hope I'm saying that right. Sebastian. Prototype. Chris, I'm using Glide.
hear the MIDI is a little bit fucked up on the strings. Excuse me. No key groups.
I play music, you go dancing. 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 I play this. I play music, you go dance. I play music, you go dance. I play music, you go dancing. 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 I go dancing. I go dancing. I play music, you 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 go dancing.
Hit him with the drums, baby. Let's go.
I play music, you go dancing. 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 You go dancing.
What happened? Oh, snap! Ran out of memory. Give it a second. There we go. Almost forgot this part. I think I might have forgot this at Burning Man too. Shit. So much for the perfect set. It felt good though. Whatever. Mute that kick. Right here. Kick drum. Actually, when I bring in some already produced songs in here. Okay, let me turn down that master. There we go. So it's actually in the same key. Back to project layer 1. Turn down that strings. Frankie.
This is when I usually take a breather. High vibes, baby. Give it to me. Yeah. About to get real interesting too. Alright, let's speed that shit up. Let's go. Uno, dos, tres. Okie dokie. Let's bring it back down. Let's play my favorite one. Kind of muffed up that transition. But you didn't even know, did you? Maybe you did. I don't know. Thanks, Chris. Go. I got one more for you. This one's nostalgic. Definitely the closer. Thank you, brother. Goosebumps every time. Real. That 30. Oh, what's up, Sean? Yeah, baby. There it is. That's where I'm at so far. And you got to put it to rest. You got to burn it. And then I got some new sounds that I'm going to create in this. Some new songs. And I just got to remember to back up every single time because I have been guilty of not backing up my stuff. What a shame. What an absolute shame. So I'll kind of go through a little bit of some of the stuff there. Let's see who's still here. And we got Sean and we got Chris. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, brother. We got about, baker's dozen in here. So let's see what we do here. You can see the navigate screen up here. And this is my whole set. It's a lot of stuff. If you load up Force for the first time, you're not going to see much. You're only going to see about, an 8x8 grid. And here I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about 23 tracks. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About, let's see, I can actually just look. 72 clips. So it's 23 by 72 is the layout of this performance. And it's pretty much stayed that way for a while. So I could either add more on top of it, or I could reassemble a new band of sounds and then recreate an entirely new sound. That's an option. Although that's kind of more of a long-term goal. And then I have all of these different clips. Let me just give you an example here. Let's launch one of them. It's a pretty simple loop. And I had the filter on one, and I have the release of that filter, or the release of that synth. So I can have it really choppy like this. I could have it really short. I usually have this like string. A high F. I can launch the entire row to get to a new section. I got the bass here. My bells on there. And if I want to make it really intense, I just bring everything up. And if I want to make it really like not intense or relaxed, I can just bring down the filters. So I actually started writing a book. Can you believe it? I didn't even graduate high school and I'm fucking starting a book. I don't know if it's going to be a book or a research paper, but I'm going to show you because it's called The Digitally Native Musician. And if you don't know, that's what I consider myself. A digitally native musician. I am a musician that's also an audio engineer. And let me see if I can find the... So, the digitally native musician. Evolution and revolution in a new era. Let's just go over to my ChatGPT. And this would be the kind of back description. In an industry that's constantly evolving, the digitally native musician takes readers on a captivating journey. There's too much fucking fluff in here, so bear with me. Captivating journey through the transformative landscape of music in the digital age. As traditional paradigms shift, this work delves into how emerging artists navigate new economic models, unlocking greater value from every piece of their creation. The book sheds light on the metamorphosis of historic electronic interfaces hampered by their limitations to today's digitally native platforms that liberate artists in unprecedented flexibility and expressiveness. These platforms not only shape the process, but also redefine the listener's role, turning passive audiences into active listeners. Beyond the studio and the stage undergoes reimagining as we explore the potential of center stage performances, drawing energy from a 360-degree audience and breaking away from the constraints of traditional 2D stages. These shifts champion not just the performer, but the collective experience, challenging established norms and redefining what it means to be a live musical event. The digitally native musician, the intersection of technology, art, and commerce, paints a vivid picture of the future of music. It's a must-read for artists, industry professionals, and music aficionados eager to understand the next chapter in this sonic narrative. So, essentially how this works is I have never released a music... I guess you could look up Nick Trikakis on Beatport or whatever, and I've done a couple of remixes that I'm not proud of. But the record industry is completely fucked. It is just, it's an absolute mess. And it's been that way since 1999, since Napster came out and the MP3 kind of took over. And us as artists, we haven't been able to sell anything. The master is now a product or an accessory to a more profitable product, like a video game, a movie, a commercial. And the bigger problem is we listen to 15 seconds of a song. We never listen to the whole thing, and we don't even know who made it in half the time. I mean, this is what TikTok has done. And TikTok is great for the record labels because they're the ones collecting most of the money through the streams. Hence the 15 seconds, which is the minimum of Spotify. So not only do we need a digitally native musical instrument, which is the Akai Force, and a digitally native way of performing, which is a combination of composition, conducting, performing, and audio engineering, which I define as a specialist in recording and manipulating sound. But we need a digitally native music product that allows artists to share their stems, create different variants of those stems, different takes, maybe different guitar player, maybe remove the guitar altogether, whatever. And you should be able to update it. The same way that you update a piece of software, the same day that you go into a game and update your skin and work on attributes. The listeners, like yourself, should be incentivized to explore these different stems, takes. And the more that you listen, the more incentive the artist has to give you the latest updates. So imagine, let's just use Jay-Z as an example. I know that's really aging me. Let's use Future, for example. Maybe not aging me as much. Say Future goes into the studio and he's got a little baby over, and they record a new verse. Well, they record that verse over a new beat. They could do that and release a new song, or you could download the update. And then artists can have more updated songs than others, or fans can have more updated songs. There's a leaderboard on a platform. There you can explore this. There's a new digitally native music player. And furthermore, the evolution of the nightclub, the stage, and the live show, lighting, all of that. It's a real full spectrum look at what the future of the music industry could become. And I think there's a lot of inevitabilities in this. It's just a matter of kind of taking the tools that are available to creators and making them available to listeners, and incentivizing music listening and creating a listening economy. So that's kind of the guts of this book or paper or whatever. And I'm excited to kind of dive into this a bit more. I think this is my true life purpose. And it took me a few years to realize I don't need a company like this, or like this, or like any of these in order to execute this. I just need the drive to actually do it. The vision is there. So I have been streaming now for about 2.5 hours, which is a great length to kind of cut this to an end. It's now 7:30. I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch Demon Slayer on Crunchyroll with my daughter. That's our favorite show. I don't know if you're into Demon Slayer. It's kind of perverted, gore, weird. I don't know, man. Fucking anime is kind of perverted. I don't know how else to really say it. I'm sure they have a word for it in Japanese that I don't know. But that's what I plan on doing, is watching watching perverted porn gore with my daughter. That sounds really bad, but that's actually the truth. So I apologize if the truth hurts. Thank you so much for tuning in to this live stream. Just me and a baker's dozen people. I needed it. I feel good. Thank you so much. I love you. And let's try to. You tried to watch it with your 15-year-old? Oh yeah, you did. Let's see. You're such a creative inspiration, my man. Love to see it and hear it all. If you guys didn't know, Sean Cook, who's in the chat right now, is a extraordinarily talented artist. I won't say the work that he's done, but let's just say the Cyclops Sun on Instagram is your daily dose for some of the most mind-blowing AI art that you can pretty much see anywhere. There's AI artists, and then there's artists who create with AI, and Sean is the latter of those two things, and I highly suggest checking him out. And that's it. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you. Let's see. Hello, Prototype. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you. Let's see what else we got in there. Hold on. I just want to make sure I hit everybody. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you. I think that's it. And Synth Addict. I know you were up there somewhere. I don't know if you're still watching. Crusader General. Thank you. Thank you, Alex Key. All of you guys and girls are fucking beautiful, and I appreciate you. Maybe I'll stream again tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. One way or the other. I love you. Have a wonderful evening. Ciao.